Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video lecture, we will see about digital transmission system design consideration, link power budget and rise time budget. So let's start with digital transmission system. Nowadays, the expansion of the telecommunication network is being around digital telephone exchanges linked by digital transmission system. Due to digital circuit techniques and integrated circuit technology, the transmission of discrete time signals has become more advantageous and economical. The digital transmission generally gives superior performance over analog transmission system and also provides an ideal channel for data communication and compatibility with digital computing techniques. So, over and above optical fiber communication is well suited to baseband digital transmission in several important ways, like it's having good signal to noise ratio. Here at the optical fiber receiver, about 20 to 30 dB as compared to the analog systems. Second is the less distortion in signal. Distortion caused in the baseband signal due to the non-linearities and temperature dependence of optical devices are more prominent in analog system as compared to digital transmission. Because of these advantages, most high capacity optical fiber communication systems uses digital transmission system. Even the analog signals like speech are digitalized for transmission using pulse code modulation, where we get signal with a constant amplitude but varying width according to the signal amplitude. So these discrete signals are known as pulse amplitude modulation. This sample signal is then quantized into number of discrete levels and are designed by a binary code which provides a PCM signal. Then the analog signal is thus digitalized and transmitted as a baseband signal, or alternatively may be modulated by amplitude, frequency or phase shift keying. The only problem for a digital transmission system is requirement of high bandwidth as compared to its counterpart. Bandwidth needs to be large for transmission media, but for fiber optic bandwidth is ample. Figure C, it shows the typical digital transmission system. Here the block diagram is same as that of analog transmission system. So in digital transmission system, we are using here sampler, quantizer and filter as additional blocks, and for analog signals we are going to use here directly analog signal which can be applied to the encoder, intensity modulator, then receiver and decoder unit. Okay, so in if a digital signal instead of analog signal is to be transmitted, the sampler and quantizer at the transmitter and this low pass filter at the receiver may be omitted in case of digital transmission system. Next point is point to point links. The point to point link is the simplest of the optical transmission link, which has transmitter at one end and a receiver at other end. This type of link makes more complex system design a simple one. So to design an optical link, we must consider various interrelated variables between fiber and optical devices like optical source and detector and their operating characteristics, as these variables are going to affect the performance and the cost of the link. So some of the characteristics which are considered while designing a optical link is given below. The first is for fiber, we need to check here core size, refractive index of core, bandwidth, numerical aperture and attenuation value. Second, for optical source, either we can use here LED or laser depending upon our requirement. We need to check here emission wavelength, optical power, emission pattern and radiating area, spectral line width and emitting efficiency. Next, at the receiver side, optical detectors are used. In that APD or a pin photodiode we can use. We need to consider here responsivity, speed, wavelength of operation and sensitivity. So while designing a link, the three major components and its characteristics are to be looked in, and the selection of these three components will give the optimum power efficiency in the link. So if a specific system performance is needed, then two analyses are generally carried out. These two analyses are: the first is link power budget, and the second is rise time budget of system. So these two analyses will give the power margin between optical transmitter output and the minimum sensitivity needed to communicate with specified bit error rate. Also, it gives additional margin to accommodate the power loss due to component degradation, temperature effects, and transmission line impairments. So it also ensures that the desired system performance has been met. Okay, but before going to study link power budget and rise time budget, here we will study system design consideration. So for designing a system which should perform with less distortion and in optimum power, step by step decisions are needed. These steps are considered here. The first is wavelength. First and foremost things to be decided in a system is wavelength. What should be the wavelength to be transmitted? Once the wavelength of transmission is decided, then accordingly the components which operate in this wavelength are decided, so that there is a minimum loss of power by components in this wavelength. Second point is that deciding of wavelength again depends on the distance of transmission, link length. If transmission distance is not too far, then wavelength selected is between 800 to 900 nanometer, and for far distances the choice is between 1300 to 1500 nanometer. Normally windows of less attenuations are selected. Okay, so the second parameter is detector. Choosing photodetector before optical source is become optical source will depend on the distance between source and detector. So if a distance is large, then the source should have capability of giving enough power, but the detectors do not depend on the distances. Photodetectors can be selected by looking at the minimum optical power that falls on detector, so that it satisfied bit error rate requirement at a specified data rate. So in other words, it should give less errors or distortion in detecting the signal whose data rate is given. Unnecessary using higher end devices will increase the complexity in design, and it will also increase the cost. So the pin photodiodes are less expensive, low voltage operation near about 5 volt, less changes in the characteristics due to temperature, and simple in design. Whereas the APD, that is avalanche photodiodes, are costlier and which will require high voltage operation, that is greater than 40 volt, but APD has a sensitivity more than pin photodiodes, which makes its use in low optical power sensing. The third is the optical sources. Choosing between two optical sources like LED and laser diode can be from their characteristics, like choosing spectral width, data rate, transmission distance, and cost. Laser has narrow spectral width as compared to LED, which finds its importance in 800 to 900 nanometer wavelength. The spectral width and dispersion characteristics decides the data rate distance product, and then LED normally used for lower products, whereas the laser is the higher range, and for near about 2500 megabit per second kilometer. So here for higher range the laser are the good choice. So this still depends on the operating wavelength. If wavelength used is 1300 nanometer, then the same product values are increased, like LED has a data rate distance product of 1500 kilometer per kilometer. So where the lasers have 25 gigabit per second kilometer, so these values still improve in the wavelength of 1550 nanometer. So as the data rate distance product increases, the less power is needed to travel along the distances, and there is no need for optical repeaters. Okay. Next is the optical fiber. There are mainly of two types, single mode and multimode. Again, multimode has two types, step index and a graded index. To decide which to be used, we need to know the type of optical source. LEDs having high dispersion, which are normally used with multimode fibers, so that losses, that is dispersion, are low and more power is coupled in the fiber. Where edge emitting LEDs can be used with single mode fiber for data rate greater than 500 megabit per second for several kilometers. For optical power that can be coupled in fiber depends on core cladding index difference, that is DEL, which relates with the numerical aperture of fiber. So the power coupled in the fiber is proportional to the index difference, that is DEL. At the same time, dispersion losses also increases, so it is necessary to have equilibrium between these two. And last is losses. The losses in fiber like connector loss, splice loss and environmental induced losses are to be considered while choosing optical fiber, as the attenuation characteristics of optical fibers are responsible for these losses. So in a system design consideration, we have to check all these parameters like wavelength, photodetectors, then optical sources, optical fiber and losses. Then after that we will discuss about here the link power budget and rise time budget. So the link power budget is the calculation of total power transmitted, power received and power lost in the transmission path. So here students, the link power budget is the calculation of your power. At the input side the power is transmitted, receiver at the receiver side power is received, and during the transmission path also some power lost is there. So the simply calculation between total power transmitted, power received and power lost in the transmission path is nothing but link power budget. When the transmitter characteristics, fiber losses and receiver sensitivity are known, then a simple process of power budgeting decides maximum transmission distance for the system and also if any repeaters needed and spacing between them. Also, while calculating power budget, some system margin is always incorporated, so the small variations in the characteristics or operating parameters do not lead to the unacceptable decrease in system performance. This system margin is also called as safety margin, that is MS. Safety margin depends on system components and system design procedure, just like a temperature variation and aging. Normally, safety margin is in the range of 5 to 10 dB. So the optical power budget is given by power P in is equal to P out plus CL plus MS, where P in is nothing but the mean optical power launched in fiber. Second, CL is the total channel loss, and P out is the mean incident power at the receiver side. So this CL, that is channel loss, can be given as CL is equal to alpha F plus alpha J into L plus alpha C. That is channel loss can be obtained due to connector losses or splice losses or the again some environmental conditions. Okay, so here the alpha F denotes the fiber cable losses in decibel per kilometer provided by manufacturer. Then alpha J is the splice losses, alpha C are the connector losses, and the L is nothing but the length of optical fiber. So this channel loss may be of any type due to splices, due to connectors or due to the manufacturer losses. Okay, so here we can put the value of CL in this one equation. This is your equation number 1. So after putting the value of Cl in equation 1, this equation becomes P in is equal to P out plus alpha F plus alpha J into L plus alpha C plus Ms. So here the dispersion is also added in that equation because it is considered as a dispersion equalization penalty. So the this equation will allow the maximum link length to be determined without using any repeaters in between. Okay, so with the help of this link power budget, we can calculate the total power transmitted, received power, and the power lost during the transmission path. Okay, next is the rise time budget. So this rise time budget analysis determines the maximum dispersion that would occur in a signal when transmitted through the optical fiber link. So it is all about your dispersion term. The 4 basic elements are responsible for this dispersion or which limit system speed. They are: the first is transmitter rise time, that is TS. Second, group velocity dispersion rise time, that is T of GVD. Third is the modal dispersion rise time, T mod. And last, receiver rise time, that is T of D. So here the total rise time, that is T of system of the link, is the root sum square of the rise times from all above 4 contributors. So here we can write T system is equal to Ts under root of Ts square plus TGVD square plus modal dispersion rise time square plus receiver rise time square. Okay, so when the total system's rise time is known, then the maximum system bit rate, that is BT, is defined. Once we know the value of T system, then we have to just put that value in this equation and we can calculate this bit rate time, that is BT is equal to 0.35 upon T of system. So in the first, let us see what is meant by this transmitter rise time. Okay, so this is mainly due to the light source and its drive circuitry, and is mostly given by designer, which is calculated from circuit used for driving LED or laser, and the rise time taken by the devices LED and laser given by the manufacturer. Okay, so it is totally dependent upon the manufacturer side. This is nothing but your transmitter rise time. Okay, second is the receiver rise time, which can be happen at the receiver side. So the receiver rise time is mainly given by the photo detector in that pin or APD photodiodes. It results from the responses or 3 dB bandwidth of the receiver, which is given by calculating rise time from 10% to 90% change in the pulse. Okay, so which can be given by here B of R, that is 3 dB bandwidth of receiver, is equal to 0.35 upon TD. So the value of TD becomes 0.35 divided by BR. Here BR is nothing but 3 dB bandwidth of the receiver. Okay, next is the group velocity dispersion rise time, that is T of GVD. Group velocity dispersion rise time is called as intramodal rise time. Practically, optical fiber does not have a single uniform jointless fiber, but has several joints which has different dispersion characteristics, also has misaligned joint. So the different core index profiles and different degrees of mode of mixings are there. So due to all these, there is a group velocity dispersion and is given by this formula. Here we can write the group velocity in term of T of GVD is equivalent to average dispersion, that is mod of D, into L, length of fiber, and into sigma, that is equal to half power spectral width of source. Okay, that is half power spectral width of source. Here this formula we have seen in dispersion time. Here in dispersion we have seen there are two types of dispersion. The first is intramodal dispersion and the second is intermodal dispersion. In intramodal dispersion, which again divided into two types. The first is dispersion due to material, that is material dispersion, and dispersion due to waveguide, that is waveguide dispersion. Okay, so here the group velocity dispersion is also called as the intramodal rise time. Okay, the next is modal dispersion rise time, that is T mod. This modal dispersion rise time is also called as intermodal rise time. We have seen one equation in that intermodal rise time. We have also studied the intermodal dispersion for step index fiber and intermodal dispersion for the graded index fiber. Okay, so it has been found that the bandwidth B in a link of length L is depends on modal dispersion rise time, which is given by T mod is equal to 0.44 upon B, where the B is nothing but bandwidth in a link, and which is given by B is equal to B0 upon LQ, where B0 is the bandwidth of 1 kilometer length cable, then L is the length of cable, then Q is the parameter which indicates the modal equilibrium and having value near about 0.5 to 1 and 0.7 based on experience. So the T mod, here we can put value of this B in this equation. So the T mod becomes 0.44 LQ divided by B0. So the total rise time budget is given by putting all the values of rise time, that is transmitter rise time, group velocity dispersion rise time, modal dispersion rise time, and receiver rise time in equation 1. This is our basic equation, equation number 1. So after putting all these value in this equation, we will get here T system is equal to Ts square, that is transmitter rise time, plus 0.44 LQ upon B0 bracket square, that is equal to modal dispersion rise time, then d square sigma square L square group velocity dispersion rise time, and 0.35 divided by B bracket square, that is receiver rise time. Okay, so here in this way we can calculate the total rise time budget. Okay friends, so in today's session we have seen the digital transmission system, then system design consideration, link power budget, and rise time budget. I hope you will like our today's session, and we stop here and ending our today's session with the motivational quote. Today's motivational quote for you is: small steps in the right direction can turn out to be the biggest step of your life. So thank you for watching my videos.